Welcome to episode 231 of the Digital Tourism Show, sponsored today by Resdi. In this episode, we have the pleasure of speaking with Daphne Tsevreni of Clio Muse Tours, and she will be discussing the rise of audio tours and how they source the right guide for their tours. One not to be missed. So Daphne, thank you so much for joining me on the Digital Tourism Show. Arrival was the first time we actually met in person. I know we tried to do this at Arrival, but I think after all the speaking of so many meetings we both had, I know my voice had certainly gone at that point. So, so thanks again for rearranging. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you too for hosting me.
That's okay.
It's gonna be fun.
No, thank you, thank you. So, for the sake of our listeners and our viewers, if you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you guys came up with the idea for Clio Muse Tours.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm Daphne. I'm Chief Commercial Officer of Clio Muse Tours. We are an audio tours company. So we have a platform that curates and distributes self-guided audio tours via mobile app. Basically, we have a full backend that helps professionals from the cultural and tourism sector to create their own tours, and then we are the ones that call travelers. So we serve the travelers through different channels. Of course, the OTAs from other tour operators that have already created tours in our platform, and through our e-shop, and of course the apps.
Excellent,
We basically
excellent.
have audio tours now for Greece, Italy, the Netherlands, Turkey, and actually we are the first ones to have created an audio tour for the moon. It's
Yeah,
actually
I
our
was going to
innovation.
come on to that later on, so that's going to be an interesting one. So, no,
Yeah.
you guys have came up with the technology for the platform. What idea came first? Do you consider yourselves a technology platform, or do you consider yourselves a tour company? So, how do you approach it in your business?
Well, when it comes to me, our participation in travel trade shows, we are a tour operator. However, we do create technology for tour operators, though. We are suppliers in terms that we supply audio tours. We might not supply guided tours, but still they're tours, so we are supplier. Other than that, how we came up with the idea, how we came up with the platform, is back in 2014, we considered creating a platform to connect all cultural heritage, all in one. We were first a tour guide app for museums, so we collaborated with a lot of museums to see how to best distribute and promote their content, because up until today, museums are kind of, closed up, and you don't get engaging content out of them very easily.
Hmm.
So we tried to change that. We created together a way that it's both engaging and good for the museum. So at some point, a tour operator came up to us and asked to create an audio tour for him for outdoor tours. So
Hmm.
that's how we kind of pivoted from a tour guide company to tour guide company for museums to a tour guide company for basically any outdoor tour for attractions, city walks, themed audio tours.
Excellent. Excellent. So how do you source the best guides for the business? I imagine that's quite an undertaking to speak to so many guys, etc., etc. So how do you source the best ones for your audiobooks, or your audio tours?
Okay. Yeah, so we have our content department, which is responsible to find the best professionals for each attraction or destination we're interested in having an audio tour.
Yeah.
We make the market research. We understand where an audio tour would do well in terms of traffic and engagement, and then we make like through LinkedIn. We approach a lot of professionals that are either travel copywriters, they're tourist guides, they're archaeologists. They have to have, uh, a writing curriculum, let's say.
Hmm.
Have to have, that kind of experience to create content, and especially engaging content for the traveler.
Yeah.
So we kind of combine archaeology with tourism again when it comes to selecting the professional we're going to work with.
Excellent. And how does it work for your guides? Is it I suppose the closest thing I can think of is Airbnb experiences where guides use that platform as a way of making income. So is that how it works for your platform, or do you employ guides? And how does it work for guides who want to approach you?
So we have two ways collaborating with creators, let's say our authors, that's how we call them. They either get commission per audio tour that is sold to a traveler, or we pay the author all the rights of, revenue collection. So this basically comes to the choice of how much we want to invest in an audio tour from the start. So let's say for attractions, we mainly work through that basis. We pay upfront a specific amount for the author to create the content, and then we take on all the production costs, which means curation, audio recordings, photos, map creation, and everything.
Wow.
Uh, the other case would be, for the author to create all of those things through our platform, which is very easy, but still needs a bit of dedication for the author, to offer. So he would be responsible for audio recording through our platform and uploading everything on his own.
Excellent. Excellent. So no, one of at the start there you mentioned that you I don't know how a tour guide does this, but you mentioned the moon tours audio guide. So how did that come about, and how did you manage to get that produced?
Well, it was a crazy idea. We had one of those meetings, brainstorming meetings inside the company, and we're thinking, what would we do attraction tours, we do theme city tours, we do crazy theme city tours, but we still haven't caught, the craziest one. So it was, I think, our CTO's, my co-founder Yanis's idea, but it kind of he kind of dropped it on the table, and we kind of like were like, yes, we should do that, and with that person. So we found an actual astronomist, I think, yes, from NASA. She's Dr. Pamela Gay. She's, the expert in the moon, area.
Yeah.
So we create this tour with some, basic facts about the moon, but also from the moon. So, give like that kind of experience. How do you eat, in space? Stuff like that. It is quite fun, I think.
Yeah. Are you planning to do any more like Mars or anything like that?
Well, we have some ideas on the table, but for 2020, but we're still working on that. We're thinking of having one audio tour like that per year, because I think it's going to be exciting for all the team, but also, exciting for our users as well.
Definitely, it's something a little bit different and quirky, and I'm sure even though, no, I love astronomy and things like that as well, and that type of thing. So being able to listen to something like that from an expert, to me is fantastic. But even my children would love that as well. No, my daughter is always out with binoculars looking at the stars and the moon and everything else. So I'm sure even kids would love it as well. So I love the idea. I love that you think a little bit out of the box. So I like that.
Yeah, we try to do that all the time because
Yeah.
it's the only way to move forward. You know that, so that goes for
Definitely.
everyone in the industry.
Yeah, definitely. So, and talking about that moving forward, so what's the future for Muse? So, are you looking to add in new destinations, or obviously things like Mars possibly? So, what's the future for the company? How do you see it progressing over the years to come?
Okay, so right now we do have good traffic. Yeah, we in 2019 alone we served around 30,000 travelers. We're quite excited about that.
Oh,
We already offer tours in Greece, Italy, the Netherlands, Turkey, and the Moon. And we are just launching Spanish audio tours, but in our in our plan for 2020 are other major destinations like France, Germany, and other stuff like that. We're kind of still working on that to create auditors for that. But the main strategy for us is not only having audio tours for attractions. This is like the penetration strategy. We wish to, through the attraction, to engage travelers and see more of a destination. An audio tour lasts around 2 hours, so it's short. So after the attraction, why not take a walk, to the more local area of the city, or you know, take a walk and learn about Casanova,
Yeah.
in Venice. It's stuff like that that engages the traveler more to understand the background of the destination, not the history alone. And basically, our future steps is mainly to expand globally and have strategic partnerships with great OTAs and tour operators, because we always think that alone you cannot do things. It's together that we manage to do everything. So
Mhm.
more partnerships with authors and tour operators, and more distributors that can, have bring us more touch points and
Mhm.
people to get to know audio tours as a thing, because audio tours are not so well established in the market yet, but we believe it's the next big thing, because you have the solo explorers a lot, growing a lot. And it was actually one of the arrival report thing that
Yeah.
stand out for us, that 16% of the solo explorers, although they would never get a guided tour, they would get a self-guided mobile tour. So it's a huge opportunity for both OTAs and tour operators. And we believe that there are platforms like ours that can definitely host such tours and help, tour operators and OTAs create more. So, we really believe that there's a good future for this kind of,
Yeah.
alternative tour.
Oh, definitely. People are always looking for something different, and the one thing which I love, but I'm surprised at, is that OTAs, etc. Will take an audio tour on board because it's not a traditional product that they would normally sell. So, how do you, how did that work with the OTAs? What was the sort of conversations you had with them? Were they happy to take them on board? Did they have to be persuaded, or because I'm trying to picture a customer coming on to get your guide, for example, and just buying an audio tour. So and how that works with your app. So I'm trying to figure out how that works with them. But so how
Yeah.
did that work with the OTAs?
Okay, so first, OTAs that distributed our products and onboarded our products was Hotel Beds, which is kind of astonishing
Yeah.
because it's a more traditional, distributor,
Hmm.
but also Get Your Guide and Viator, the biggest two in Europe. So they did need persuading at first, because up until that day, and audio tours didn't sell as much. But
Hmm.
as I understand, the market grew, and also the market was educated, because an audio tour alone wouldn't be something that a traveler would search for, but an entry ticket to an attraction along with an audio tour, it would be one. So it was one of the biggest, revelations as a company that we
Yeah.
had. But I must say, I don't take all the credit for that, because it was always a collaborating model, especially with the first OTAs that we worked with. They were the ones that pushed us into this direction, and it was for us very, very good. So that's what I always say: partnerships are the number one thing,
For
because
sure.
if you don't have partners, you don't grow as fast and in the best way possible.
Yeah.
It's kind of a win-win situation.
Yeah, and that's an amazing story because I no, there's always a lot of things in the press, and even things that I've spoken about and others people speak about, how the sort of negative side of OTAs, but it's been a very positive experience from you with, and they've actually helped you in a way develop the product and get it onto their platform, etc. So it's a great story. Great to hear. Great to hear. But so
No,
where
indeed,
sorry.
OTAs. It is sorry. OTAs is a great way to learn the
Hmm.
market, because
Yeah.
on your own you need a lot of marketing money, and a lot of time to understand fully what the traveler thinks. Through the OTA, you have direct contact, even though they don't give you the emails and stuff
Hmm.
like that. You still have a way to communicate. So it's a great way to have first feedback and make your product better.
Definitely, I know, and I have said that a few times now that if you're using OTAs, even if you want to use them sparingly and you don't want to use them for your full business, no, using an OTA is a great way to test out new products to see if the market accepts them or not, or and that type of thing. So no, it's I'd certainly say no, using OTAs in that sort of method or that sort of way is definitely a way you should approach them initially anyway. Um, and so that's it. The audio tours are all through an app, I believe. So that's so I imagine that's on the usual sort of platforms. I would take it, yeah.
Of course, you can find the app both for Android and iOS devices. No Windows Phone though, but that's not new.
Yeah, I don't know many people who have a Windows phone anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, this didn't go very well, but still.
Excellent. So we get it on iTunes, I know Apple Store, Android Store as well. And they just search for Clio Muse. Is that right?
Yes, Clio Muse Tours.
Excellent.
So it's the actually the name of the app and the platform itself was we came up with it very early on, and it's Clio was one of the nine muses of ancient Greek mythology. So you kind of get the spirit. She
Yeah.
was the muse of storytelling and good fame, and
Love it.
it
Love
was
it.
a good place to start.
Definitely. I love that sort of brand connection. That's great. And I love that thing. No, for coming from a background of brand development, I like those little things of where a brand name has came from and something that has a meaning to it. So that's great. No, good to hear.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, Daphne, I appreciate the time. I know you're a busy woman, so I appreciate the time and speaking to us. Hopefully, the listeners and the viewers will get some good sort of advice from this video and this sort of audio podcast as well. So, if any tour guides is listening or anyone who's considering wanting to use your platform or become part of the platform, what's the sort of best ways they can get in touch with you?
Basically, through our website, we have this specific area that we ask for authors to submit their ideas, just a full paragraph of the idea of the tour. So you go to clearnewstours.com, and there's a part in the footer, a menu that says create your own audio tour. So and there will be all the information, also the frequently asked questions of how to create it, how easy it is, and so just hit us on Clio Muse Tours and you'll find everything.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thanks again, and I really do appreciate the time.
You too. Thank you so much,
Thank you. I'll
Chris.
hopefully see you in Arrival in Berlin.
Yes, definitely. I
Oh,
will
you're doing a
also be
talk,
speaking
obviously, yes.
about. Yeah, I'm giving a talk on the 3rd of March, a
Excellent.
theater session about audio tours and how tour operators actually can, uh, gain a part of the market that it didn't have in the first place. So it's quite good. I hope everyone will join.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. I'll certainly be there. So I look forward to seeing your arrival,
Oh,
and thanks again, Daphne. I really do appreciate it.
thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you. Speak to you soon.